Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to Big Leg Hot Rods. Today we're going to start getting real deep and heavy into the body work. I wanted to look nice and clean and straight and all the body lines nice and crisp. So there's a lot of those, a lot of curves. So it's going to take some time, and hopefully we can get it in prime in next couple, maybe a month or so when it gets a little warm. I don't have a booth, so got to just worry about with the weather. It's been 70 here in a week, and then the next week it's in the 50s and 40s. So it's just kind of hard to time it. But that's the way it is here in Georgia. The weather changes by the day. So anyway, I'm just going to keep sanding on it until I see an opening in the weather. And like I said, get some primer on it, and we'll really seriously start blocking it and try to get the lines tuned up and perfect. So bear with me. Just doing it by what I know, by what I've seen with watching YouTube like this, and just from my experience and other people I've talked to that own body shops. So I don't hold my word to it. You know, do this at your own risk. This is the way I'm going to do it, and that's the way it's going to be. So thanks for tuning in again. Like, share, subscribe, and make comments and do all those things. But thanks for watching Big Leg Hot Rods. Let's get to it. All right, so we got some more filler on the lower panel there below the bumper, below where the bumper will go. Just get that slicked up. I got the rear panel there between the taillights. I have no idea what that's called. And the deck lid slicked up pretty good, at least initial. Kind of smoothed out. It turned out really nice. It's going to need some more work, but the whole deck lid. Quarter panel and sail panel on the roof there is got a coat of filler on it, so it's just a lot of progress right there. Even though it looks like a little bit of progress, it's a lot. Other quarters are going to need to be done, and then the door is another major issue. I'm going to have to put the stud gun on it, pull that dent out a little bit, but when I get this other sail panel done on the passenger side and that lower quarter, the quarter will need work because of where I've had to basically make a new one. But that's the last of the major body work, and it just needs to be sanded. So a lot of steps forward there. That's cool. Hopefully I can get this in some primer here soon. We had a little cold snap here in Georgia, but once maybe the spring warms up a little bit, gets in the 60s and 70s, we can roll it out in the sun and spray some primer on it, get some high build on it, start really getting into blocking and dialing in this body. So yeah, keeping at it, keep on going. All right, so I decided to do something a little, I guess it's not really different, but I decided to go ahead and I wanted to do some flush handles, kind of like a Kendig style, but they're very expensive, and I didn't like how the ones I was trying to make were turning out. So I'm just going to delete the door handles. My limited experience with it, I read a lot more negative than positive, but I decided to give it a shot, and I'm using some OEM solenoids from an old Ford. I got these poppers from these little spring-loaded poppers, so they're mechanical. Not a lot of failure points there. And we added a door solenoid to the stock latch, which is right here. And I will attach that to the door. It's just attached with a cable. I'll pull all that out and show you on the door or on the table, the workbench. And the only thing I'm going to have to modify is I'm going to have to add a little bump out here on the door jamb, on the door itself, to catch the latch. You can see right here where my mark is, where it's hidden dead center on my little spot here. So you close the door, boom, hits the little spring-loaded peg, release the latch, and I just got it rigged up to a drill battery here. So pops the door right open, and you just come up and grab it. Now I will have to get, still have to get a radio, key fob for it, so it'll control that via radio frequency, just like your modern cars. So that's my option right now. I'm going to hide a button on the car, which is kind of weird, but simple for me at least, which is kind of strange, but for me it's going to be simple, and it'll end up being the emergency switch in case my key fob dies or something like that. It'll be direct connection to the battery, and I've got external battery connectors, so if the battery dies while that happens, I can still get in the car. Hopefully, that's the plan. Like I said, I got it all taped together, very temporary, and my idea is to box this in with some tubing and then have the bolt in there so it's robust. It's sitting up against the door jamb, so there's no pushing it that way and popping it out of the car. So I'm going to fill this in. I plan on filling these in anyway and bringing them, closing all this gap up. I do want to leave a little bit of room for adjustment, but I want to close this gap up to where it just looks a lot better. I wanted to go with some modern latches, but I don't want to do all the work. These work fine. So if I just tighten up the gap here, I'll be pretty happy with that, and it'll make the door jamb look a lot cleaner. You can see I'm getting rid of all the body lines, the seam lines anyway. The door jamb is going to be real smooth and slick. So hopefully like the rest of the car, and kind of keep the theme going there. So let's get it installed.
How much room you got beneath that?
All right, so as you can see, modified my door popper just to square it up to give me a little more room in here because I want to close this in with some sheet metal and just fill that gap that's there and tighten that up around the jamb, the striker. So I'm going to run that in there like that, and that'll be all closed in. And I think what we'll do is just drill and tap this cap on the end and run a screw in from the back side, which you can access really easily, and that'll be covered with a door panel. So I think that'll work good. So let me start making this panel here, and we'll see what we can come up with. All right, so I've been putting a little shape in it. I got the perimeter here cut around it and spaced out nice, I think. Got enough room. I think this will wiggle around a little bit. I'm kind of curious about that, how much room I need to, probably should go ahead and adjust the door. That would probably be the smart thing to do. But it's close, but I noticed this needs to wiggle around a little bit. I need to put a little more bend on that. We are getting really, really close. I'm really liking that. I think it'll clean it up and just keep it going flat. I don't know why they dimpled it in so hard like that, but it is what it is. It's all part of the fun of customizing it, I guess. I'm going to have to trim the face of this off a little bit because this right here is actually not flat. It tapers in to, probably going to taper into almost the edge here, so that'll be gone once I make this panel. And then I'll roll it in like I did here and roll it into the opening where the striker hits and just give it plenty of room and not get any obstructions there. So let me get that other piece and we'll get this. Wish I made it way bigger than it needs to be, but got to. liking it. So that's obviously going to be cut off a lot. You can tell there by the excess. But that'll curve in and smooth it out, and I think it'll look a lot cleaner. Let's get it tacked together and let's try to finalize this. All right, so my theory is, well, my plan of attack is this is going to go like that, and then my plunger is going to go in there in that hole. But I want the plunger to be flush with the face of that, but the thickness dictates where I can put that. I'm going to have to put it back here, and I want a pocket to recess this in so that it ends up being flush, but I can still get to it and pull it out if it fails or whatever. It's a pretty simple device. I doubt it'll ever fail, but you always want to do that, because if I weld this in place and body fill it and I've captured that, there's nowhere ever I'll get it out. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to build a little recessed pocket in there, and just pushing it back some, if you can see the gap. So that'd kind of give me an idea of where I want my piece of sheet metal. I should have thought about that before I welded all this and finished it, but you know, that's the way it goes. So I'm just going to cut another piece and put it back there, and then I'll cut this guy off. I may just cut this off and I'll see how much material. I'm going to have to cut it off in here because I got to make more right there. So that's the idea. That's what I'm going to do. So that is the door jamb now. I'm not going to add any body filler yet because I may have to come in here and cut around this door latch to depending on where I need to sit it and adjust the door. So I'll wait for that. That'll be my final thing, and then I'll do the jamming. I'll do the mud work on the jamb, and you can see where I've got my seams hidden. So that'll be a nice smooth transition to that. I've got working on the quarter panel where I widened it or lengthened it, stretched it, whatever you want to call it. You know, put a little mud there on the lower quarter, and then the sail panel on both sides. And I got to get some more work done here on this back edge so I can add some actual white filler to where I've got the fiber fill. So I'm gonna sand that next and make some progress. My arms are killing me, but we got to keep on getting in there and dig in and get it done. So hopefully get the quarters and the sail panels done. That'll be the back end of the car, so I can move to the front and hopefully get some primer on this when it gets warm. So that's my goal, at least. So we'll see. Hoping to see some big leaps here soon. I'm really excited to start getting some movement on it again. So, you know, you start working on it a little bit and it seems like it bogs down and stops, but it's really little pieces that add up to the big puzzle. So just got to keep at it and keep your head down and keep focus on it. So, and that's what I'm trying to do now. Also changed up a little bit on the shifter here. This shifter is from a 2000 something Camaro, and I just didn't like the shifter knob. This looks out of place in the car. So went to the scrapyard the other day and got this shifter ball out of a PT Cruiser. And I was looking for the white one, and I didn't realize they had grays and blacks and browns and all kind of different colors. So I grabbed these two, didn't find the white one, but this is able to be adapted very easily to the Camaro shifter, just simply by adding a piece of tubing inside here to extend this unlocking mechanism, I guess you'd call it. So now it activates very easily. And it's got a little set screw in the side here. So very easily adaptable and makes the shifter work. So now this ball looks a lot better in the car. And it actually looks just like the original Galaxy one, which was a chrome knob, but that's okay. I can deal with black plastic. It'll actually match the interior a little better. At least for now in my mind. Maybe the gray one will work better. Who knows? I may even need to go get the white one. If you've got a Camaro and you want to change the shifter ball, you can do that with a PT Cruiser. Cheap. All right, so we are making a huge mess in the shop today and sanding body filler, everybody's favorite task. No, I'm not at all. By any means, this is my favorite task, but I'm really happy with the way this body filler's coming out. This 3M body filler that I'm using is like butter to sand. Very rarely has it clogged up my sandpaper. The fiber fill that I'm putting underneath where I've welded the panels is the part that's really bugging me, clogging up the paper a lot. But it is the nature of that product. It's sticky and tacky, and it takes a while for it to tack up and dry. And I'm just being pushy with it, but it is what it is. This stuff here from 3M that I'm using, not endorsed at all, just something I found. And use quality products, you get quality results. That's just the honest truth. So, it's smooth. It's really feathering out really nicely. It's effortlessly sanded. But like I said, it's coming out really nice. This quarter panel needs the most work because a lot of this was metal work. It's replaced with just stuff I formed and handmade. And this is a new upper part of the quarter from a different car. So it was patched in along here somewhere. And I had to go back in and correct some of that in my earlier video. I showed that. But like I said, it's turning out really nice. It's nice. This line here is nice and straight. And I want to make sure I keep those lines nice and crisp and arrows straight all the way down through the car once I get the door back on and aligned correctly. If I have to fill the gap or fix the gap on the door, I'll add to the door itself. We'll add a little piece of filler metal here. I don't want to add to the quarter because the quarter is flat already, and you want to add here so it makes it look, more like the pinch seam. I guess that's what you call it on the edge of the door. So got to finish welding this guy here. This is for the spring mechanism to activate the door. And just got to finish welding this side. I've got the driver's side finished up, and the driver's side's passenger side will be the next one. I want to wait probably and fill these door handles in last, just to make it easier to work on the car and get the doors in and out, get in and out of the car, get them open and closed and things like that. So we'll probably wait and do that last. The door's in pretty good shape. The driver's side door needs a lot of work, but just from a dent in it. So it'll probably look a little rough for a while until I'm ready to close that in, and just so I can use it. I may rig up something and figure out a way to pull a cord in here or a cable, something inside temporarily until I'm permanent with the wiring and have a button that I can push, because it's going to be push button. So, enough rambling. I'm just wasting time because I don't want to sand anymore, but I'm not even nearly halfway done with the car, so a lot more to go, and a lot more to go. This all I can say, a lot more to go. Stick around. All right, so I modified, sorry about the noise. We modified the door latch and attached the solenoid to it. I just simply added a little piece of tubing here and a piece of tubing here on the latch mechanism, which is what pulls down when you push, you got to unlock it. And it pulls down. That's what the doorknob pushes in when you push your thumb on it. So simply pulls that down, and the spring in the door jamb that I added pushes the door enough to clear this part of the latch. So once this pushes in, this just kind of free rolls. So it allows enough time to push it out and get it out of the way, and it simply opens the door for you. So that's my take on a door popper. This is from a 90s, mid to late 90s Ford car that had a fuel door. So you push a button and the fuel door pops open. This monstrosity opened your fuel door because people are too lazy to go out there and open it. So it works for me. I attach them to my door latches, and once I trim this up and put another little set pin in it so to determine the length, I'll reinstall it. And this is simply moved the stud over because it was in the way. So I moved the stud to the right here because it was in the way of whatever mechanism's on the door. I think it's the window channel. And put a little riv nut in there, and I can screw it in. I'm gonna cut a little slot for this tab. It kind of locates it, keeps it from rocking. And they're ready to go. This is my little test plug, a little trunk release button. I just hook it up to a drill battery and it pops it. So it's a pretty cool little setup. It's simple and it's very cheap because I wasn't really sure I wanted to do door poppers because I hear they're problematic. Never dealt with them myself, and hopefully these will be, these are going on 30 years old and they still work. So hopefully there'll be zero problems out of this, and everything else is kind of mechanical. So these can easily be replaced and gotten to if need be. I haven't cut up the door latch or anything other than just little guides, which is, can be redone simply by putting a new solenoid in it. So really happy with that. Get this put in the car and move on to the next project. So for right now, I think I'm done with the back end of the car. It's roughed in. I'm going to get a coat of primer on it, and that'll be that high build stuff. So put a couple coats of that. That'll also be like adding filler. And if I don't see anything really that sticks out, I'll leave it at that until I get the front end caught up. So just going back through here, all this little tedious sanding around the little exhaust openings. And I mean, look at the floor. It's made a mess, but it is what it is. A little piece there I got to sand off. But overall, it's really turning out nice and straight like I like it, like you want it. Like the lower quarter there, and all this has been sanded. This is the one, like I said before, this has been scabbed in with a new patch panel put in, because when I bought it, this part was caved in pretty good and crinkled up. So I've cut it at the seams and spliced it in the middle there. So that was a little difficult to get in, get nice and straight, but you just got to keep working at it, and it'll eventually come to you. And just got a few more little spots like here and there that I've filled the seam in here where the body line was made, and it's just a sloppy factory seam. So I filled that in with Duraglass and then some body fill over that, just to get it nice and tidied up, and it'll look a lot better. So weather strip will go on there, so like I said, you'll see all that. And this panel here, for some reason, boy, it is wavy. This little panel here, it's got just bumps all in it. But I don't understand what could have caused that to be so wavy. I've got to put a layer of filler across that, and what I'll probably end up doing is filling the entire area over the deck lid and that. It's got a little bit of a high spot here. I need to whack that with the hammer. But that way it'll be all uniform in one single layer or level, one single body level, and it'll make it look a lot better, and it'll make it look like this is just kind of cut out like it's supposed to be out of the body. But overall, deck lid's in good shape. There's a few minor little waves and things like that in it, but a thin little layer of filler will take care of all that. It may even be the 2K high build that I put on it. It may take care of it too. So overall, like I said, very pleased, and we're gonna move right along and consider this part done, as long as, like I said, I don't find any little pieces that stick out. I want to go ahead and try to get the bumper on and get it cut in and fit. It needs to be trimmed a little bit, so I'm going to work on that now, and I've got a little bit of material to add to this end of it. So I've got to get all this mess cleaned up. And it looks like a lot of filler, but I bet more than half of it's on the ground and just all over me. So all over my legs and everything. So it is what it is. Makes a mess, but the end results hopefully will speak for themselves. So let's get to this bumper, and we'll quit with this sanding for a while. All right, so I went into Harbor Freight the other day, and I picked up this filler applicators, and they're really flexible. And I wanted to replace the ones I had, the little plastic ones that always come with the kits that you can buy body filler with from your local auto parts store. And they just, mine were pretty beat up and used, and I've sharpened them and cleaned them, and to the point where they're just about useless. So I was looking for some different ones and happened to run across these at Harbor Freight, and I'm pretty happy with them, actually. They got a good little flex to them. They form to the body real nice. They fit in your hand really nicely. Got a good little grip on them. So I'm not endorsed by them in any means. Just passing on a good little tool to pick up, nice and cheap. I'm sure anything else could be made. You could buy you can go steal your wife's spatulas from the kitchen if you want, but I guarantee she won't like that. So if you're wanting to pick up a set of those, go right ahead, man. They were like $12. So nice little applicators, and they did the job for me. So it's a cheap little tool that makes your job a little easier. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all watching Big Leg Hot Rods. Like, share, subscribe, do all those things, and comment, and let me know what you think about the project. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.